All right. Hopefully, I don't have to restart the stream like last time, turn everything off and come back to it. So, hello everybody. My name is 64 Beastie Man, and welcome to my personal review of Jurassic World 2: The Fallen Kingdom. Now, this is a movie I've wanted to see ever since it came out in theaters on opening day, but tickets were all sold out, so I had to wait until the day after, Saturday, to go and see it. Now, heading into it, there was certainly some buzz around it. Actor Chris Pratt, who played Owen Grady, said that it wasn't the best film he was in, and a lot of people have deemed this movie to be their personal worst Jurassic Park movie ever. And I'm looking at them scores on Rotten Tomato. I'm just like, what the fuck are these people talking about? I mean, it's not that great of a film, but it's certainly serviceable for what it's giving us. It's certainly a good film, in my opinion. Definitely a lot better than Jurassic Park Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. And I'm going to explain to you why, starting at the beginning. So, we open up the film with an extraction team from the sea. And some certain shit happens. Submarine gets the bone extracted up to an extraction helicopter. Then the sub into the mesosaur and gets eaten by it. Meanwhile, ground team above gets chased by a T-Rex and escapes in a helicopter, only to get eaten by the mosasaur. Which cuts to da, 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 politics and warnings about saving the dinosaurs. And we get some pretty good speech by actor Ian Malcolm as Jeff Goldblum. Or no, Jeff Goldblum as Ian Malcolm. And he's like talking to the Senate, talking to Congress about, the dangers of keeping dinosaurs alive, extracting them from Isla Nublar, because in the opening scenes of the movie, we do see that the Isla Nublar volcano has been active and is threatening to destroy all the dinosaurs on the island in a magmatic eruption. So, a couple of filler scenes later, and Owen Grady is going with some hunters and a team made up of Claire Deer, Franklin Webb, and Zia Rodriguez to the island to try to get the dinosaurs, including a raptor that Owen raised during his lifetime named Blue, Blue the Raptor. And personally, this is where I should talk about some of the cool shit, but the hunters are just assholes. Once Owen finds Blue, the hunters shoot some trank darks in him. One hunter shoots. One hunter actually shoots Blue in her leg, apparently, and she falls down, starts to lose some blood. The hunters have to extract Blue as quick as possible, and they actually shoot Owen with one of the trank darts and leave him for dead when the lava comes. They leave Claire and Franklin in a maintenance shed, lock doors, and leave them for dead. But fortunately, they do escape before lava comes down onto the building. And that was also around the same time that I'm not sure if I'm getting my dinos right, but an Allosaurus came in and tried to kill him off. Well, anyways, Owen wakes up a little bit later and uses his body to escape the lava. His not so numb body, that is. And he eventually meets up with Claire and Franklin, gets him in a gyro ball as multiple dinosaurs come rushing in, one of which in particular, Carnotaurus or Carnosaur, tries to knock tries to kill them. However, they're ended up being saved by the T-Rex who comes in, does his badass roar as a badass volcano spews lava all over the place. Volcanic ash is coming down from the mountaintops, and Owen and the crew of two survive the fall into the water along with a lot of the other dinosaurs. They end up on a beach, and they see that the hunters have extracted most of the dinosaurs, and they have to try to get in, trying to find Blue, who Zia Rodriguez is currently tending to at the moment, because remember, she's a medical, she's a dinosaur medicist. So they get away from the island in a jeep as the ship is leaving, which leads us to probably the first tearjerker in the entire movie. The Brachiosaurus gets left on the island and gets swept up in the volcanic ash and lava. Everybody's looking, sad music is playing. I swear to God, I could see or I could have heard a bunch of people crying in the audience. I won't lie. That scene actually almost put me to tears as well. That's how much that's how much sadness was flowing through at the moment. Anyways, later into the film, Owen Grady and Claire dealing Franklin Webb find Zia tending to Blue. Zia tells them that they need blood from a species similar to the raptor, T Rex, in order to keep her alive while she's extracting a bullet now. And Claire and Owen go to get the blood from the T Rex. They sneak around the guards pretty carefully, close the door, and then the extraction begins. And this whole entire time, the T Rex has no idea that her blood's being taken from her until the moment when they get the blood, the bag's full, and they have to leave. Owen, he's a quick athletic Owen in this film. Well, he was quick athletic Owen in the first Jurassic World. But to escape the jaws of a T Rex like he did, that's something that has a high probability of never being done. Anyways, they get the blood back to Blue. Blue survives to live another day. And all our heroes rest in the ship while going to plot number two. There is a businessman who's looking to get all the dinosaurs to auction them off to people to use them as weapons of war and destruction when the time comes. And granddaughter of the man who co-founded Jurassic Park with John Hammond. Shit, what's her name? What's her name? Maisie Lockwood or Isabella Sermon finds out about the plan, as well as some information about past the Blue and being raised by Owen. When she sees the video, she takes a liking to Owen and the dinosaurs. She thinks that dinosaurs are really cool. And at the same time, she's trying to hide from this businessman and his scientific team. She accidentally gets caught when she goes near the pen of a new type of dinosaur that they're creating called the Indoraptor, which, if you don't know, is a mix between a raptor and bone sample of the Indominus Rex that was seen on in the first few minutes. Yeah, plot convenience later, the team of Owen and crew make it on into the mainland and get caught by the hunters. Well, Owen and Claire get caught by the hunters while Franklin Webb and Cia Rodriguez go on to work as scientists for the in the scientific laboratory. Then the auction starts happening. Meanwhile, Owen and Claire are trying to find a way to get out of here. Owen sees another dinosaur and uses him to break the lock on their prison cell in order to get out. And they happen to come across Macy, who was also escaping from the businessman around the same time that the businessman killed off her grandfather and sent her grandmother away so that he could be in full possession of her. Anyway, the trio of three go to the auction where they see the Indoraptor and what it was capable of. Meanwhile, back in the scientific lab, Franklin Webb kills off some scientists, most of the work. Blue kills off more scientists, and an explosion happens, which causes some chemical gas to start merging up, which could potentially kill all the dinosaurs if the team wasn't fast enough to save them. Anyway, going back, with the auction starting for the Indoraptor, Owen thinks of a way to interrupt it, so he calls upon the same dinosaur that happened to stumble on by just a few minutes ago. And he whistles for him to go inside the building, basically just knock out all the auctioneers and the people that were there, as well as managing to free, as managed to stop the auctioneers from sending out the Indoraptor, opening the cage, and the Indoraptor breaks free and kills the auctioneer and some others. Then goes back into his cage, where a hunter who is obsessed with collecting teeth will find him later. Shoots him with a couple trank darts, and the Indoraptor actually fakes being fainted. Of course, the hunter would fall for this and enter into the cage, where, upon trying to collect his teeth, would be killed off by his arm being bitten off and then his head being crushed to death. So now the Indoraptor is free and on the loose, starts looking for Owen Claire and Macy. He tries to kill them one by one until Owen cuts the power off and leads the team into some glass exhibits where a few minutes later, Franklin and Zia would turn the power back on, exposing the three. So after a narrow escape, Owen tells Macy to go back up the stairs where she can hide in her room so that the Indoraptor can't get to her. But the Indoraptor is much too clever for our famous eyes as he climbs around the top of the building and goes through the back door into her room, about to kill her and gets shot with bullets or trank darts by Owen himself. Owen brings the girl along with him, and the two go to a glass ceiling outside where the Indoraptor has them cornered, but fortunately, Blue's there to help fend the Interraptor off so that they can make their escape to the glass ceiling possible. Then, as soon as they're about to fall from the building or get eaten, Claire steps in, sees that the glass is breaking, so she has a plan to point a laser gun towards Owen and pushes a button which will make a sound that causes the Indoraptor to try and attack. And upon pressing this button, the Indoraptor goes in for a swift kill, but falls through the glass ceiling, or almost falls through. Glass breaks, and the Indoraptor can be seen struggling to get back up. But he does get back up, and with nothing else left, who else better to save the day than Blue? Da da da! Bouncing on his back, Blue pushes him in, causes him to fall, and ends up being the cause of him being stabbed by three horn bones. It's most likely a Triceratops bone. And Blue runs free into the wild. Meanwhile, the chemical reaction is only getting worse as chemical gases spraying. Fortunately, they do get the dinosaurs out of their holding cells, but then they have to make a tough decision on whether or not they have to they want to free the dinosaurs or let them all go extinct. So Claire thinks about this for a minute as she's about to push a button. Owen tells her if you push that button, back, meaning that if she frees all the dinosaurs, they could potentially end up in our civilization and potentially kill us off. So, through weighing all the benefits and the risks out, Claire decides not to do it, and she watches along with the others as the dinosaurs begin to die. Which, I just say, for the sake of things, if the dinosaurs would have all been killed by the gas, I wouldn't have cared much. In fact, I might have thought it was a pretty good ending. It would have been poetic to see all the dinosaurs being slaughtered. And it would have made up for all the wrongs that people in the past have made bringing dinosaurs back to life. But unfortunately, Macy pushes the button and lets all the dinosaurs free. Which, may I just say for this, yes, I know we're gonna get a sixth movie out of this, but I just I just hate when there are characters who do ultimately morally wrong things for good intention. Like she says, I'm freeing them because they're just as alive as me. But she's a kid. She doesn't understand what they get released onto society, what they start eating people right away. Now, fortunately, from the scenes that follow, seems like it doesn't happen. But we do have to be careful, as Jeff Goldblum said in the movie. Once we release all these dinosaurs on the civilization, there's no going back. And if we're not careful, we could face either salvation or extinction. So, I mean, and then the scene that follows, businessman who's trying to get all this stuff going to auction off all the dinosaurs ends up getting his comeuppance when the Carnotaurus and the T-Rex come by and eat him. And then they smash his Indominus Rex bones so that nobody can extract it or make any more Indominus Rexes in the future. So don't worry, we won't have to worry about any more Indo dinosaurs in the future. But I mean, looking at it as a whole, this movie as a whole, I thought it was pretty good for what it was. I thought it was pretty serviceable. It gave us a lot of cool scenes and it also gave us a lot of stupid scenes. But I mean, there were some tear jerkers, and there was a definite connection between Owen and Blue. There was a definite connection between Owen and Claire from the last movie. And there was definitely a good message about should we let these things die because it's the natural order, or should we let them live and get to experience them in full light? That was botched in with some hunters trying to get some dino teeth and an auctioneer guy that was trying to auction them off. What if you took all those aspects out? And it would have had ended with a moral question: should we let them live or should we let them die? I think it would have been a better film than what it ended up being. But aside from that, me personally, I rank this above Jurassic Park Lost World and Jurassic Park 3. It's not a great film. It's certainly an entertaining film. And it's definitely a good film. It gave us some jump scares from here and there. And it faked us out a couple of times with the jump scares. And personally, I'd recommend that people go see it to form your own opinion on it. If it's something you like, then go ahead and like it. If it's something you don't like, go ahead and not like it. And I think with the Rotten Tomato scores going around, my opinion on it, pretty good. And I'd just say that this movie would be one of my many guilty pleasures.